Ship's company. Parade, rest. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce today's guest speaker and Commander, Destroyer Squadron 14, Captain Paul E. Flood. Commander Flood served in command of USS Shamal and USS Rodney M. Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, Commodore Flood.
Good job on the weather, maybe too good, Mike? I'd like to thank members of the Hall family for joining us today. Dr. Susan Godson, Channing Hall, John Leslie Hall III. Stand. I'd like to thank the plank owners for coming back. What a marvelous thing to see. I was telling Commander Meyer, a lot of you came back, and that's fantastic. Sincerely appreciate that. We have another person I'd like to recognize. Admiral White's joined us today. He has an interesting connection to the John L Hall. We just saw the plank owners. Admiral White was the first non-plank owner officer to join the wardroom of the John L Hall. He's come back today to share his memories with all of you and to see his first ship decommissioned. And I've imposed on him, and I asked him if he would mind just coming and sharing just a few thoughts with us about what it was like to join the wardroom of the John L Hall.
Thank you, Commodore. Got a couple of old COs here who certainly never thought they would see the day when Ensign White or Lieutenant J.G. White or Lieutenant White would be wearing this uniform, but I'm certainly only wearing it thanks to your leadership. But I wanted to just take a couple of minutes, and especially for the plank owners here saying, is that Ensign White or is that Lieutenant White up there? But I want to share a couple of memories here because there's one thing you have to realize about ships in the Navy. Ships are not, or they are made of steel. They're made of weapons and engineering plants and electronic circuits and all those kind of things, but ships are also made of people. But also, it's not just people that make up ships, it's ships that make people. And the John L Hall made me what I am today. And I'm going to tell you two quick sea stories that might take you back in time a little bit about things that have stuck with me throughout almost 29 years of my career. First one, first deployment to the Mediterranean on board John L Hall. I was the ordnance officer. Yes, I was in charge of that 76 millimeter automalera gun on top there. And we did these things in the Mediterranean called quick draws. That means they passed the message over voice and said, quick draw, and gave you a bearing to fire your gun, and you had 5 minutes to get rounds out of the barrel. Great preparation for these kind of ships later on when they had to go after some of the boats in the Persian Gulf against the Iranian boats that were out there. So we did a quick draw. We were great. I had a great crew of gunners, mates, and fire controlmen. We put that barrel down the line, fired the 2 of the 3 rounds, and where's the third one? No third round. We had a hang fire. Gun was pointed over the side. The round didn't go off. So we did according to our procedures. You put the gun in manual, which automatically slews it pointing directly aft, and you see what's wrong. The unfortunate thing they hadn't realized about this gun system until then, when you put it manual pointed aft, it also frees up another circuit, and that third round went right between the stacks, the plenum chamber on there, where Captain Anthony Fahey, not 5 minutes before, had left after doing inspection of the plenum chambers. A little bitty hole in front, and a big old hole in the rear of that stack, and that poor old close-in weapon system in the back was mincemeat. And there were rounds and there was stuff everywhere. So what did I learn? Well, first of all, it wasn't the end of my career like I thought it was as soon as that happened. But what I learned is that just this ship could take a round like that and it didn't slow it down. Ships, people, sometimes we get damaged. Sometimes things happen, you didn't plan on it, it slows you down. But because of the crew, the ships like John L Hall and the crew of this ship all aboard, that ship kept going, completed its deployment, proved and set a new type of doctrine for that type of system that made sure it never happened again. A credit to the crew, a credit to the leadership of John L Hall, and that ship is here, has done great things since. Okay, fast forward a little bit. The second deployment of John L Hall was a Unitas around South America. We're steaming out of Cartagena and beautiful warm waters around there on a Sunday morning. And you muster on station. Well, about 0700 on Sunday morning after a lot of great work and exercises. We muster on station. All of a sudden we turn up. We're missing a signalman seaman, SNSN. Can't find him. Okay, so it turns out, this is 0700, about 0400 he had gotten off the mid-watch and decided to stay up for a flashing light drill that was going to start at 0500. He went out to put his hands on the rail of the ship and look up at the stars, and you can see those little lines along that gate right there that allows people to work over the side sometimes, lower things, paint things, and stuff like that. Someone, none of us are perfect, had forgotten to lash those lines back down. So that seaman went to put his hands on that line, and he tumbled over. Man overboard. 3 hours later. What do we do? What kind of turn do we do? Williamson turn. Turn around, come back. Launched helos from every ship that was on Unitas. We're coming back at 7 hours later, roughly by the time we get everything done. Helos couldn't find anything. All of a sudden, one of our BM3s is looking through the big eyes and sees a flash. There was that seaman 7 hours later with his belt buckle, tied the knots in his pants, put them around his neck, and for 7 hours had floated in the ocean. And had used his belt buckle as a flasher, and the ship saw him. He picked him up, got his ice cream, all that kind of stuff. So what did that teach me? It taught me to never, ever give up hope, to have faith in your shipmates, have faith in your ships and your commands, because the U.S. Navy will never let its crewmen, its citizen, or our nation down. And the John L Hall has proven to do that for 30 years. So those two stories just go to tell you the character, not just of the ship, but of every man and woman who has served on board this ship, who has served in our United States Navy since John L Hall has been commissioned. So it's not just me that has grown up based on those experiences. Our Navy has grown up thanks to the ship. So thank you for the opportunity to tell you a couple of sea stories. And yes, thanks all of you who put up with a wet behind the ears Ensign JG Lieutenant and got me to where I am today. Thank you very much.
Admiral, thank you very much for letting me impose on you like that. I thought that's a great way to start a discussion at John L Hall. A ship that started an illustrious career, not just for itself, but for the many officers, sailors, chief petty officers who served on her. And I'd like to thank Admiral Gilroy. Thank you, sir. Very much appreciated. Commander Meyer, thank you, sir, for giving me the honor and the opportunity to speak about the John L Hall on her final day of commissioned service. Later today, I